I did my mic check. I did my camera check. I just stopped the video right there, but then I pressed start again, so you technically missed a little bit of that. But I think that we're connected now. I literally never know how to start these. As in, never know. Wait, what? We're gonna start again from the beginning? You know what? We're gonna start again from the beginning, but keep that in, but we're gonna start again. And this time, I'm gonna know what I'm gonna be saying because, this is live. And we don't edit this. This is raw. We're doing this as is. There's some sounds in the back. You can hear a little bit of walking and teeth brushing back there. But this is all live. This is all gonna stay in. This is part of the intro. And you know what? You know what we're gonna do here, guys? We're gonna see if this is actually gonna stay as the intro. And you tell me, at what point did I cut it? At one point did I decide to actually start the podcast? That's the running theme of this podcast. Is did I actually cut it from now? Or did I start a bit later and you never saw this? Oh, did you not see this or not? Who knows? Guys, it's December 1st. It's officially been December 1st for about 32 minutes. Where does the time go? I swear. Is it 2020? No, actually, it's been actually 25 years. It is officially 2046. Yeah, I'm pretty good at math. 2046. That's how long it's been since this COVID thing started, since this podcast thing started. We've been doing this podcast for years, guys. We're grizzled, we're old. Look, we don't have our hair anymore. We shaved our head. Hey, for those of you that are watching this on video, you can actually see there's a little bit of shadow, a little bit of 5 o'clock shadow. Why do they call it 5 o'clock shadow? I guess it's like the perfect angle from the sun that, I don't know, if you stand outside when it's sunset and just coming home from work. You're just coming home from work and a little bit of that shadow just kind of creeps on your body and you just embrace it. You just embrace it, and then you kind of realize what we're even talking about here. And I'm like, oh yeah, I was trying to relate that to, how my scalp works, and it all just ties back together like that, guys. Beautiful thing. Is my mic close enough to me? What was I even trying to get at with that right there? I was going into this, I was already thinking I'm going to go on so many random tangents in this podcast that I just don't know where it ended up going. So bear with me on these rides that we take to nowhere, because sometimes you might be just going down a road, you're a little excited, you wonder where it's going, and it just kind of, that didn't go anywhere. But you know what? That's life sometimes, right? Sometimes you think that a decision you make is going to lead down some, actually, you know what? Everything is a meaningful road. Even if it doesn't end up being a meaningful conversation in that moment, you having that conversation had to happen for you to get to the next point. Think about that. Time just goes, you know what I mean? By the way, for all the watchers and listeners, I'm a little ASMR I'm sipping my my water, my after 7 p.m. water. Yeah. Yes. Guys, how was your last week? It's been about a week, right, since the last one? What have I been up to? Dude, it's just been work, life, And I was gonna say that going into this episode, I was like, today, how I felt. I literally felt like every emotion today. It starts out, I'm, what was it? You start off early. You got to get that morning routine done. You got work, so you're just kind of waking up thinking okay, it's time for work. I got to do those morning things, those little morning rituals. But, I got to get ready for that meeting. I got to get ready for that first meeting. But the thing is, we're not really on video in these meetings. Unless you are. Let me know if you guys, in the comments, if you guys are on video for your meetings. Because if you're not on video, you don't have to be looking all pretty and stuff. So you can kind of relax, have a coffee, have 10 coffees. That's my morning. I just have I realized that I became old when it got to the point, and it's I'm not trying to say I'm old, but that I started to feel a true adult that has like goals and tasks to do, that like when I get excited about coffee, it's like, whoa. Because, you know, like for me, the idea of having a coffee and what that entails is that like I get excited knowing that like I'm having this because it's going to give me energy to do what I need to do for the day, because I know I'm trying to be productive at any given moment that I'm drinking some coffee. But, you know, you have that morning routine, but me kind of circling this all back to how I felt like every emotion today. Like, so I mean, going through that, you know, that regular morning routine, and then I look out the window, and I actually noticed it last night, but I didn't want to like believe it. But I don't know, I maybe knew it for the last 2 days, and I'm just lazy, and this is all gonna tie in. But it makes me a bad car owner. But I look out the window, and then I see that like, oh wait, one of my hubcaps on my car is like not there. It's like not there. And like a month ago or a few weeks ago, I noticed that there was this little dent coming out of the hubcap. And I was like, yeah, I could push that back in. So I just like banged it a bit, like the most like ghetto, like I just want this to not be a problem, and I don't have any technical expertise whatsoever. I just get this problem away from me. So I just bash it, you know, trying to straighten that out as much as I can. And, you know, kind of like putting duct tape on an earthquake, you know, that sort of thing. And we go back to our daily scheduled routine, and I forget about it. That's already like a day or so ago, or 2 days ago, maybe Sunday night. This morning, I wake up and I go back and I look out the window, but what I also noticed was the car, now it looks like it's getting a little deflated. Not the car, but the same wheel that doesn't have a hubcap anymore is now getting a little more deflated. And throughout the day, I noticed that more and more it's getting more deflated. And I go outside, I look, and there's this little like scratch on, like I didn't bother like really tuning into, even as we speak, I still don't know the full extent of what's going on with that wheel, because I didn't do all the scientific research and, you know, really examine the car with a flashlight and actually look and see what the issue is. But bottom line is, it's basically like barely any air left, and you can see it's like maybe by the time I wake up tomorrow, by the time I even post this podcast, it's probably gonna be flat. But anyways, so that's lingering in my mind. And then I have like, you know, all of a sudden I knew I had to get winter tires, because, you know, we live in Toronto, the sixth, the Great White North, the T-Dot. We live up in the you know, the Arctic, as everyone in the world views it as. We're all you know, we're all constantly in parkas and riding polar bears and stuff like that. But, you know, so like my polar bear had no hubcap on one of the paws, and I'm suddenly like, how do I expect to ride into work? How do I expect to take my polar bear to the train, to allow me to take the train over the North Pole and Santa's workshop and stuff to get to work? Because, like, I have so much like work to do during the week, and I like to get, there's just like, you know, when you're trying to just like have these blocks for your day, and it's like any wrench in there is just gonna toss out everything, or like push off stuff and like make you have to delay. And I'm like, I like to just be on top of my tasks, you know, and I'm just like, oh well, this is great, like, oh. But I guess that's just life, right? It's never gonna go exactly at the pace you want it to go. It's literally impossible. Like, and if you could predict anything that's going to happen at any given time, then it's boring, isn't it? You don't know where it's going to go. We don't know where it's going to go. I don't even know where this episode's going. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Bottom line is that I was pissed. Have to figure out, as of now, this is like something I'm doing right now. Got to get my wheels replaced. So I was talking to my buddies and got some opinions, and like, it was already in my mind to buy the winter tires, like we said. It's been established. But now that this happens, on my regular season tires, my thing is, like, I'm not trying to spend over, like, $1,000, $2,000 to buy 2 new sets of wheels. So I'm just like, I'm going to buy, like, just one set of, like, all-season tires. And the thing is, you know, it's COVID. Understandably, like, I think people are more like, yeah, you gotta have both. But my rationale now is that I know I'm not going to be driving a lot. I work a lot from home. I only have to go into the office for work twice a week as of now. So it's like realistically, and I'm only driving to the station, to my bus station, to take the bus to work every morning. So for me to drive all the way to my office, it's like I was doing that actually when I first got the job, and I thought I was being like efficient by like because like I got this car in COVID. It's actually my first car, my first on my own car, you know. So I'm paying all the bills and all that. It's a good time, you know. It's a money pit, and it's not like I'm barely able to save anything for anything at all. But you know, it's worth it for those late night drives with friends, hang out, get to drive to work, do everything on my own time. I can go out in my car and cry whenever I want. You know, it's great. It's awesome. It's badass. But you know, I had to calm down with driving that car too much. I think I got it out of my system this first half of COVID that, you know, to see friends and stuff, work prospects weren't as like hectic as they are now. So I had a lot of downtime at a certain point. And then I took advantage of my downtime, like hung out with friends and stuff, like got out of the house a bit. But I realized, like, I kind of stopped looking at my gas bills, and then like I wasn't making a lot of money at that time, like kind of midway earlier this year, you know. So I had a lot of expenses and my saving, like, but the first half of COVID, like all of 2020, I was so good with my money and I like saved up a lot, but I had to spend partially on this down payment for this car when I got it. And then, you know, now the monthly payments. So you got your insurance, you got your car payments, you got your gas, you got your air fresheners. You got those air fresheners will get you. And knowing me, I really need them air fresheners. I use 2 at a time. But man, it was just one of those things where once I looked back at my transactions, I was like, oh, I noticed that like every 2 transactions is like $50 for gas here, $50 for gas here. And like I only spent a little bit on food and then my bills, and like at that point I'm like, plus it wasn't like I was the best like saver. Like I sometimes would spend, I don't splurge, but I wasn't making enough for me to like comfortably what I felt like I should be spending for the amount that I want to chill. You know what I mean? So like I understand that balance. So now I'm cutting back on my driving so that, you know, I have a little bit more money to put away and like have a little bit of spending here and there. Honestly, my only spending these days like constitutes food, drinks if I'm going to a bar or something once in a while, and then gas. That's literally what it is. Because like most of my gas is leisure gas. Like, if I'm just driving to the station and not going out and doing any leisure driving, that's like barely any gas. Like I could probably survive on $20 a week, maybe even less. Yeah, because I only have to drive in twice a week. Yeah. Wow. But you know, like I've been good. Like bottom line is when I got this new job, I cut back because I looked at my transactions and I'm like, yeah, this has got to stop. I've been driving too much. But I think that's because I was driving during the week too. But like I think when I cut it back to just weekends, if I just do some, you know, a little bit of leisure driving like once on like Saturday, maybe Friday, then it's not as bad, you know. Yeah, I was a little reckless at first. Like I think it's just that having a new car, you know, just on my own terms, like made it so that like I was just taking advantage of all the free time I had. I just, you know, go as I please, not have to rely on, you know, someone else needs to use the car. Yeah, I'm sure some of you maybe are in that situation too, unless, you know, you're not all basement dwellers like me. I dwell in my own basement because I pay for my own house. No, Lester pays for the house, guys. I'm just Lester's humble tenant. But yeah, it's just, yeah, like for today, bottom line, it's like, you know, with everything I just been saying, it's like my emotions are all over the place. Just all the things going through my head, plus like the busyness of work, and then, you know, wanting to do this gig, like doing this and doing the skits and stuff, like I think the more the older I get, the more I respect that when I see people that do this sort of thing seriously, because whether or not it's even like successful, I like applaud anyone that's doing any sort of like, I don't know, just any sort of like passion project grind of any sort, because like it takes up so much of your time. Like I worked full time like for the last few years, but like this is the first like job I've had where it's like a salary and it's in the field. Like I'm doing stuff related to what I want to be doing, like with video and stuff, but it's like it's taxing mentally. But I'm glad. I think it makes me kind of realize that I'm on the right path, because like I'm doing it in the right realm. But it makes me more exhausted when I do the skits now, because I'm already using my creative brain for work. But I wasn't doing that before, not as much. I was using, kind of like, not to say like I love my old job, but like, and I think that's almost like a freedom I had before, that I could like, not to say mindlessly, like once you get to a certain groove doing like a retail job or like a desk job, like working at the gym, that's what I did. And then, the cashier stuff, you guys know about that. That stuff, I could still have my creative brain on the side, like giving me ideas. And like, I still have that now. Like I always have it still. But like when my mind is already on stuff kind of related to this, but like in a different context, it's more tiring when I get to this now. And it's like, but it kind of made me realize too that like, oh wow, I'm really about this. Like this Tito Please gig, like I have no desire to stop this. So anyone listening, like it got to the point, like I've said this before, like out loud to people. This is my maybe first time vocalizing it on here. I don't even know if I said it the last one, but I feel wrong when I'm not doing this. Whether like when I'm doing like anything related to the progression of this channel. So like me doing like skits, like I had to go through a whole thing of, everyone that's been following me for a while, I popped off a lot early on. And then obviously, like stuff slows down and you don't always like get exactly like the trajectory you want to go. But that's the thing that taught me, like, or it's a thing that tested me of like, how serious am I actually about this? And then it kind of made me realize, dude, no, I'm actually serious about this. Like I have no intent to stop doing it in any capacity. Because it's like, even when I'm not, it's like, I literally realized that this is like my path and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Because, I'll give you guys some background. As I was coming up, as a wee lad, I was really on the kind of, on the artsy side of things. Like I got decent grades when it came to like really academic stuff. Like English actually was a strength. I did well in English, so I liked writing. So that kind of leads into this a little bit. But I loved writing, I loved drawing, and I actually loved like acting, like in plays and stuff. So like in elementary school, like I was in Macbeth in like 3rd grade. For any of you that have seen an iteration or read Macbeth in school, I know you read it again in grade 11 or 12, but I read it in 3rd grade because that's just how advanced I was. No, I read this version that was like this like kidified version. It's like Macbeth for kids, it was called. I don't know if anyone knows about that, but it was like the pages. It was like a simplified version that was like drawn by kids. It was kind of cute, but it was like kids drew all the pages. I might still have the book, but I acted out a version like adapt kind of from that in a 3rd grade play. This is like my first real thing in my mind of like me mentally like realizing that this is something I like doing. And I played the character of Macduff. And if you guys know about Macduff, he's I don't want to spoil Macbeth for you if you haven't read it, but he's badass. That's all I'll say. And I got to play him, and there's a hilarious story, like what happened when like the live thing happened. So this is like the first thing that teaches me too about rehearsal. We had to practice our lines with the people we had scenes with. It was cool. I love drama class, and that's the earliest things of like seeding that in me. But I would do the rehearsal, and it went well. But like, there's a fight scene. For anyone that's read it, I'm not gonna say what happens, but like, there's a fight scene that I'm in, and it went well. We did some practice, but in the live thing, a lot, like, in front of my parents, in front of like my whole class's parents were there, and I think, yeah, because there was like 2-3 classes, or was it? I don't remember if it was just my class or if there was more than one class. If anyone from back in the day that knew me from then, or was in that play in my grade 3 class, maybe mention it in the comments. I don't even know who watches this, to be honest. Out of people that I actually know, like, watches my stuff. But anyways, what the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, how on the day when I actually did the play, I was in the middle of the fight with the character that I'm fighting, and like, there was a point where we swung too hard, or it might have been he might have swung, or we both swung. One of us swung too hard, and our swords, like these plastic Walmart swords, collided, and then my thing cracked and broke, but it was like dangling by a thread, like one piece of plastic on it, or like the whole like hilt might have fallen off. So I literally, there was like a brief pause, and it's funny when I think about it being in 3rd grade that I like chose to do this, and it like kept it going and didn't like halt the show. Was that I immediately, like, there was a single beat of like of everyone being like, like, kind of like a gasp, like kind of laughing, like a slight like gonna laugh, and then I immediately grabbed the blade, and then like kind of like holding a laugh and keep swinging the blade, holding the, I continue the fight, and we're kind of like half laughing doing the fight, and it was like a funny moment that I just like was aware of as a kid, and like I saw the audience laughing, and that also was something that resonated with me when I realized that, like, oh wow, like something I did like made people laugh. That like, it was such a kiddie thing. Like, I imagine if I saw a kid doing that, I thought it would just be funny and cute, like just holding the blade. Bottom line is, I'm trying to big up how cute I am, guys. Look, I'm adorable. Look at me. Just look at me. Yeah, this is my adorable kid. This is my 3rd grade imitation of my voice. Yeah, aren't I cute? But no, the play was a success. Went on to win multiple Tony Awards, Emmys, Oscars, Grammys. Yeah. But that was like the early thing that made me like into drama. So again, like, you see, we go on tangents, guys, but again, we're bringing this back to how this all relates to, like, I don't know, me ended up wanting to go the way I'm going with all this stuff, with all the Tito stuff. But like, that progressed to like high school. I took drama all throughout high school. There was a bit of a gap, and during that, it was still never at like the forefront of my mind to want to do anything in relation to acting, because like, I think I just had it in my mind that it was the most, like, because I think as a kid, at least for me, like, I still tried to think plausible, like I tried to think some level of plausibility, and I thought that I always just like had this default notion that I was going to do something with like art, because like drawing was like my first real like creative like outlet, as a kid. And I still love drawing. Like, I paint now here and there. Like, I'll do like portraits and stuff. That's actually like my one that I retain till now, that I still like. I haven't done it, like, I do it like maybe like once or twice a year these days, because it's like, like with hecticness. But it's like, I love when I just sit back and do it, because it's like so therapeutic. It's like you're putting your time into something, and then it like, you have this like end result, and yeah. But like, I followed all that creative stuff all throughout high school, college. I took media arts in high school, so that's where I first started doing like photo editing and stuff, and then a little bit of video editing. But then I kind of realized, like, I think I took a break. No, I took like a general arts course like right after college, and it was like, it was supposed to, like, because I tried to get into animation at Sheridan College, which is like this top tier college in Canada for like, it's revered for like, they hire people from there to go to like Hollywood, to go to like Disney and LA and stuff like that, and DreamWorks and all the big animation studios. Like people legitimately have been, hired from that. And that was like kind of like a general notion that people had growing up in my area that were like creative and artistic, that like, oh, you got to go to Sheridan, that was kind of like a thing, like sort of. So I ended up taking this general arts course because I clearly got into animation. I just rejected it. No, but the animation program in particular is like, they keep saying it's like the Harvard of animation, not including CalArts. That's actually in Cali. So it's like second in the world, supposedly. This is just what I heard. But pretty much like they have a lot of alumni that went on to do movies and stuff, like a lot of really big animation stuff. You could look into it, but like literally all sorts of people from Pixar. Yeah, I'm not going to repeat myself. But, we repeat ourselves all the time. It's our repeat ourselves speed run 2021, guys. Happy December again. But yeah, back to what I was saying. It's, yeah, like, I took that general arts course, and it kind of just opened my mind more because, like, it taught me, like, about, like, drawing, like, different styles and stuff, like painting. And that's where my, like, passion for painting came in. And then it just showed me like 3D sculpting, modeling, and then it didn't really help me like in my, because like the idea of people that take this 1 year program, if you don't get into it, it's supposed to be like this prerequisite thing that's supposed to lead you into kind of hone in on what way you want to focus and then choose a program for that. Because it's like it teaches you stuff to go to illustration, teaches you stuff to go into like kind of like 3D visual design, and then animation, and a bunch of other stuff. And then I know a lot of people even like did it to become tattoo artists even too, so that's kind of cool. But there's so many like avenues that you could go, and I never like specified, and I just kind of was like still kind of lost. I knew I liked painting, but I couldn't think of like a way to like what kind of job I would want to do at that point. Like I almost was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do animation, because I saw what the animation people did, and it makes me respect them more. But it kind of turned me off because I'm like, not to say I'm lazy, but like when I see what you have to do for anime, it was like some intense, like almost like military level, like you gotta have some military level precision, and discipline to be like an animator. Just like the kind of drawings and like renders you gotta do, and just like that technique. And I felt like my technique was too sketchy. Obviously, like the whole point is that I feel like if I wanted to, I could have kept trying, but like, bottom line, it kind of like, I realized that that's not the route I wanted to go. And then I ended up taking a year off, and that's when I got the job actually at the grocery store, Metro, where, grocery store. And that's when I, started, I took a year off because I wanted to figure stuff out, save up some money. And then that's when I got into the next program I ended up doing a full 4 years of, which is the interaction design program at Sheridan. And that one is like, a lot of people ended up going into like UX. That's like the majority. But the idea is that kind of, like designing like technology and experiences to be user friendly, that sort of thing. So like a lot of people, like I kind of translated to people doing apps and like websites and stuff, but like also it's the idea of like making something more accessible, more easy to use. So we're thinking about the whole angle of like how do you make a user interaction in general on a broad level, not just screens, like just in general, like easier for people. And that was like the general idea of the program. And then like that in itself was almost like the other program I took, but just a 4-year version that was like all kind of more tech design related. So it was all like stuff like doing UX, like, wireframes and stuff in like front end. There was a lot of front end, there was some graphic design, front end coding, so creative coding, stuff like that, but doing HTML, CSS, stuff like that. What else was there? Some video production, and that's where I kind of seeped in with that's where the drama and the writing and the comedy stuff started to come back in, where I wanted to write, because I was like I still am like a big like movie guy. That's a whole other thing I didn't even mention, is that high school was, I have to get into this now, but it's like I almost have to go back parallel to the same timeline. I'll bring this up later, but like bottom line is I'm a huge movie fan, and it became like my predominantly I'd say that between that and music, almost on an equal level. I couldn't say for sure what I love more, but like those two like mediums were like my initial like true passion of like, you know, like artistic passion of like interests. And with the movie stuff, like I don't know, like, you know, like in school when it came to the video production side, I started to think of like doing things in the way of like short films. So I would write scripts, and I would like think I would literally made two of my last major projects, third year and fourth year, were video productions. And like I full on did like I planned out and mapped out a whole shooting schedule, and like I did scripts and storyboards, like really like in depth. Like I almost view that as like my own personal film school almost, because it's like there was a little bit of that in the program, but they didn't teach it to me on the level that I did it for this project. Like I really went in hard and like taught myself writing structure and stuff like that, you know, like writing something from a skeletal structure, filling it in with dialogue, like that sort of thing, you know. Like my writing process now I think is still reflective of how I wrote then, which is like, and this comes down to stuff I've watched too online of like when I hear about some people's process, but like, you know, writing down the general idea first. This is like all basic stuff, but you know, getting down a skeletal structure of a story that you want to tell, the general points that you want to say, and then filling in like the cracks. So that's like the skeleton. Then you fill it in with like dialogue and stuff. You think more about what it is you want to say. Even this is where it comes down to the channel too. Like the dialogue stuff, it comes second, and I always think about what it is where I want the video to go first, like in a general sense. I don't always like, you know, like I think that's like a regular thing. Like that's when it comes down to like dialogue and like gestures and stuff, that's like very, 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 very last. Like when you're filming, I'd say most people that do videos would say the same, unless you know, going into it, or unless an idea has to do with the way you're acting. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. So it does. It's no one right way to go about it. But yeah, like I did these short films, and it's like I got a whole casting crew of like friends and family, and even like classmates and stuff to be in it. You know, it was such a fun experience because it was like I took it so seriously, and it felt like I was like my own little director. But the thing is, and it kind of led to now, is that like I'd never been able to specify the way I wanted to go in terms of writing, acting, and directing. Like I think those three are like potential, like if you're thinking in the very traditional film sense, and that's where I start to think like, is that what I'm supposed to do? But then I realized, like, you know, with this internet thing, and I've been doing it now and this is what caused me to do the first video, is that like you can fully produce your own stuff, and like as long as it's, you know, good to some extent, and you make it, you know, make it work with what you got, then you can do it yourself, you know. And that's what I've been doing, because it's like I couldn't settle on just being in control of one aspect of it. So, and I feel like, and I realized, and I told myself, like, I'm like, oh, like, is this the way that I gotta go about it to do that? Because it can be done. It's just, you know, it's not gonna be like some Hollywood production, like big time Martin Scorsese type stuff. But, you know, it's gonna be on a Tito Scorsese tip, you know? So I'm doing my own thing. Yeah. I feel like I've got like, and this is just like a down to another point of me doing the videos on a like a weekly basis, is that like when I love when I look back on my channel and it's still like going, it's almost like I view it as like a diary almost to some extent, because, and I feel like a lot of people who do videos, it's like this is like, you know, it stems from to some extent something that you were either thinking about at that time, or, you know, because like with me personally, it's like not to say like every single thing in my videos happened to me, like, but that moment that I thought of it stemmed from something related to that in some way. Sometimes it's something I just thought of. Sometimes it's like very loosely based. So let's say, for example, I'll get this little preview too, depending on, I don't know what's going to come out first. But my video that I just finished editing, and I am gonna, after this, like, prep it to go out tomorrow. It's about birthday cards, and I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's just about birthday cards. And it stems from me kind of thinking about stuff because it was someone's birthday, and I was going through the process of buying them a card. And that is the genesis of the idea for this. So it's stuff like that where I like looking back on my channel, and like almost every video, like to some extent, is like some kind of like biographical thing. Like not always directly, but it's something that like I went through to some extent. So and I think that the best stuff is like that. Like it has to come from a real place, you know. Like you gotta base it on what you know, and not even just that, but I think bringing the essence of what you know into what you want to make, even if it's not like necessarily a commentary on that thing, but whatever emotion you put into it, or whatever, like whatever meaning you put behind what you make, it comes to some extent from something real, you know. It doesn't have to be like word for word exactly what happened, whether it's a video or a piece of art or music or whatever. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to, it can, there's no one, again, like that's why it's so hard to quantify like creative related stuff, you know, because it's like you can't, there's so many different merits to judge it on. This is where it comes down to, that's interesting too. I don't know if I could traditionally review movies. That's something that like, a thing that I almost debated doing on the channel, like, or even on stream. Like one stream idea I had, and people have done this too, is like doing like a side-by-side watch party where I kind of, or it can even be a podcast too, but I kind of turn off the sound and I time, you know, starting the recording as I'm watching something, and then you guys sync it up with me and watch it with me. I don't know if it's, let me know in the comments, is that better to do as a podcast, or is that better to do as a stream? Because then I can do it live with you and talk. Or would you rather listen to it and just have it there forever, and that's going to be a podcast video? Unless I record the stream, or unless I post the stream too. That could be cool. But either way, let me know. But I do want to do that. And the thing is, with video, like with movies, and I'd say like the way I even say like my taste, it's all over the place. But like, I find it hard to like judge, like give something like a set rating based on, because like my criteria for what I give a rating isn't always, it's not fully objective, you know, and it can't be objective, because if you only view things on like the basis of like technical ability of like, oh, it looks good, or like the story, like how do you even like say that it's, there are objective things I guess to say if like a story's written well and stuff like that, but like to quantify it, you know what I mean? Like, and then you think about the types of movies too, like are you supposed to rate something like a There Will Be Blood higher than something like a Fast Five, in the sense of, what if I love Fast Five as an action movie and I love There Will Be Blood as like a drama movie, but like is There Will Be Blood better, like on, in the sense that like just because I enjoy one or the other more, you know what I mean? Like I don't care, like honestly, like if you love Fast Five or you love whatever like action Avengers movie, like, and it's truly your favorite, I don't think that should dissuade you from like, or like put you, like, yeah, I feel like there's people that are like movie purists out there that are like, or like they want to act like they're movie purists, and they don't want to say what their actual favorite movie is, or they want to pretend what it is, you know? I think I had like a phase where I like harshly was getting over that, because like I felt like that was such a like hipster thing. I don't even know if it's hipster or just snobby, where it's like you don't like something just because it's like obvious to like or something, or like even like certain movies that are like considered films are already viewed as like, oh, that's your favorite. Like let's say like Tarantino movies now, or like if you're that far of like some film person where it's like, oh, you're so obvious, you like Tarantino, and it's like, man, I love Inglourious Basterds. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. You can't deny that movie is sick. You know, that's, I think, his best movie in my opinion. But I think it's that, between that and Pulp Fiction. Everyone like, oh, Tito's so obvious. For those snobby people, and then there's probably people on the other end of like that are just I just like regular people that aren't snobby. It's like, oh yeah, I like his movies. Like I love when I could talk to people about movies and it's not on some ego thing. I feel like I'm not really I'm glad that people in my circles aren't on that as much. Like I could talk to people, like the people I talk to and I surround myself with are all relatively chill to talk about whatever. Because we like, popular stuff and whatever, like all sorts of stuff. But yeah, there's some hipsters out there, man. You can't get mad at them though. Like, they think they feel better about themselves for having some high taste. Like, it's funny, like I had to get over this thing because I kind of had that when I was a little younger, like in high school. And that's when I'd say that, if I'm honest, like my most like almost hipster. I was never a dick about it though. If I found out that someone liked a certain music, I wouldn't look down on them because they liked it, but like deep down I would. But now it's like as I got older, I was like, I don't care anymore. Like, in terms of, does your music taste actually say what your character is? Like let's say you go on a date with someone, or like you're on a dating app and you see someone, or like even someone posts like something, like they have a little post of like a song that's like good, or like a band you like, or a rap group you like, and it's like, oh, ooh, they listen to Tribe Called Quest, or ooh, they listen to what I don't know, what's another cool, Tame Impala or something like that. Like they like, ooh, they have they're on another level. They're on another level. Like, no, that's kind of whack to me. But I could see where it comes from. Of like, I think there is some level of like, you can relate to people on a certain level for liking the same kind of music as them. Like, I do think there's some level of that, but I don't think it's fully the case. Like, it's not the be all end all of like, if you listen to this kind of music, like you're this kind of person. And no. I've talked to all sorts of people. I've talked to people that had same taste of music as me. Gone out with people, of similar walks of life. Not even, like all sorts. But it's like, I would never say that the way, like, that the music, like their taste ended up being something that mattered at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that wasn't something that, like, really had an effect on how I like view them. Even if it's people that I know, like not even just like in a romantic sense, like in a friend sense, like in all sorts, like people that you just meet, like let's say in school or whatever, like friends that you make. If it's like like I would have like sometimes in my groups where we would be snobby early on, that like people like certain music, it's like the obvious stuff to like back then. And it's like, for me, what was it in high school? It was like, and it's funny because I still deep down liked it, but I wanted to act like I didn't. Where it was like, oh, everyone's listening to Wiz Khalifa's Cushion Orange Juice. But I actually love that mixtape. But anyways, like, let's just say because it was popular, I would, like, when I heard that people were listening to it, I would stop listening to it. And then I would listen to, oh, it's so cringe, but I would like listen to my own, like, my 90s hip, like, you new kids. It was disgusting. It was gross. I was that hipster that you would, like, and I don't even want, like, toot my own horn by saying, like, it was before they even were saying hipster, but it kind of was. No, like, they weren't even, the term wasn't really a thing, a hipster. Like, it existed, but they weren't really saying it like that until... it must have been after. It was actually in college, I think, that, because I wasn't really hearing about hipster, like the term, like in high school. And to date myself, I'm still not gonna say my age, but you can pretty much deduce it because it's kind of a lingering thing. But let's say in 2012, when I was in grade 12, it was not yet a super. Maybe it was. Was it? Because I think it was just a bit after that it was like the whole like, you like purposely doesn't listen to music because it's popular and wears Doc Martens and stuff like that. And the funny thing is I wore Doc Martens too in high school. And I literally, like, I truly had that mentality before I knew about that term. And it's like, oh, here we go, Tito now saying he's a hipster before hipster was a term. But yeah, it was like, I don't know, man. I had to get over that though, because it got annoying. Because it was like, let's say me and my group and my friends, like, it became that thing of like when you think that you're superior to people because you have a certain taste. And I'm like, when I thought about it in hindsight, like, it's so whack. It's like, we think we're cool because we like this certain group, or like somehow our personalities are better than people because of the music that we like. Give me a break. That's not true. That's not true at all. But in my case, yes, I can actually attest that I do have the best personality possible. I think you guys can attest to that as well. So, cheers, buds, to that late night water. I have a few hours till I gotta wake up at, like, apparently I gotta be ready to go 7:30, and it's 1:17 now, so we still got a few minutes to chill. But I'm so glad we did this, man. Like, I wanna, like, I was saying it last time, but I am making it a thing now. Like, this is where I'm like I'm trying to mentally take it to the next level, because it's, you see me, I've been doing the videos, I'm trying to be consistent. But then you have probably noticed in the last few months that, like, it's been not as frequent, and it's because I've been getting a lot of the work stuff has been coming in, and you could be happy for me or not, or I don't really care. Like, it's chill. Like, I'm just happy in the sense of, like, I'm finally getting work in the realm that I want to be. But if I'm totally honest, like, in life, this is always the end goal, guys. It might take a while, but if you stick around with me, I'm not going anywhere, baby. We're going hard with this. But the thing is, like, what I'm trying to say is, I want to make this ritualistic, this podcast, the skits forever, never stopping the skits. Or, like, the videos might evolve in some way, but I definitely, me doing videos is always going to be there. Podcast is like my new love child that I'm forming. It's a slow brewing process, guys. This free form talking, and it kind of stems from the streaming too, which is the other thing I want to do, because that one I can actually interact with you guys for real, play games. I'm gonna give you guys a little preview, and I also this is something that was in my mind too when I was walking my dog, that, like, what am I gonna talk about today? And it's like, it was in my mind to continue the stream, and I want to be consistent with it. But the thing is, when you verbally vocalize that and you kind of put it in digital ink, and I already just said it, but, like, I want you guys to call me out for not streaming. I want you guys to call me out for saying, if be loud about it. If you want me to do the streams, let me know in the comments, because I want to, and I love doing them. But the thing is that, like, it's just that life gets in the way, man. And I wouldn't even say gets in the way, but I have to find that happy balance now. Like, I got it out. I think what it was is that I got excited. I got it out of my system. Not even say got it out of my system, because I still want to do it. But I did so much right away of the streams. I did like almost every few days. And, like, it was nice then, but, like, I wasn't working nearly as much as I'm working now. And I want to keep doing it. So I need to, like, vocalize it to keep myself accountable. That if we could start off, like, my dream right now is, like, if I can, like, get something going, a little bit of momentum going off the skits, this gig, the podcast, and then stream. Like, it's very ambitious too, because for anyone that knows, it's like, it's hard, And I honestly, like, funny enough, like, you would think, I said this last time too, on the first video, the first podcast, episode 1, that surprisingly, it's more, I wouldn't even say surprisingly, I don't know if you guys would realize, but that this is so much easier to do than doing the videos, actually, the skits. So I don't think it's too much effort for me to add in this in streaming, surprisingly, but it's the creative brain more so that I, like, when I'm stuck to, I'm glued to a computer writing and stuff, and then I have to film and edit, that it's a lot of, like, technical work for the skits. It is. It's the most technical work, I think. This stuff is so laid back and chill. Like, I could do this all day. I could literally just sit and talk all day. But what remains to be seen is if people want to hear me talk all day. So, you guys give me good reception on like, is this what you like? You want to see more of this stuff? You got to let me know, because I enjoy doing it. I love doing it, but I want to make. I think it was a natural progression for me. I wanted to have like a platform to, and I see that it's kind of it's a big thing now, and I'm like I'm actually like, the more and more I like realize, and then even me leading to starting doing it, like I got more like the realization just hit me, like how much I should have capitalized on doing the podcast thing, because it's like it's a big thing right now, and it's easy to do, and I might as well, like, what is holding me back from actually doing it, Yeah. Oh yeah, that oaky water, that oaky Maker's Mark water. Clink. Cheers, guys. 9 more minutes of this, guys. I'm gonna call it a hard stop at, for me, 1:30, which is about 8 minutes from now. But man, it's like, what else did I do this week? What else was like a? Oh, okay. Now I have to tell you the story of how I went out this weekend. And there's actually something creepy that happened, and it almost is like an omen. I wouldn't even say an omen. Maybe it was an omen. Like, you guys be the judge of this. This happened to me. So remember. Okay, I'm just gonna say it from the beginning to I'll lead into it. But so I had a family party at my house. Had some family over. Had a few drinks, but like just enough to chill. Kind of bond with some family friends that I haven't seen in a while, plus people I actually haven't met, and they were cool, like around my age, super laid back, chill, and that was like a fun time. But I want, like, it kind of stems from me like kind of wanting to appreciate my free time now, because I feel like I'm always so busy that whenever I get real free moments that I can capitalize on, take them. And I wanted to, like, go out with my friends, and this is already like, so as this party's going, I didn't know, and I was waiting. I wasn't even like eager to leave. Like, it was a good time, but I wanted to see how late it would go, because usually my parents' things don't go too late, and then after those I usually will have time to go out and like still see friends and stuff like later. So I realized that everyone kind of left around like sometime before midnight or around, and like that's just how, like, this is what it was like all summer, man. When I was doing that driving and like spending all that gas money. It was late night. Me and my boy. You guys might meet him on the podcast. He might come on. But my boy, we'll refer to him by his Twitch username, Dirty. Yeah, if you guys might have, any of you Dirty Ginge, you guys might know on any of the Twitchers out there that are the regulars. My boy, we chilled. And my other boy, like, these are all actually guys that like are in the videos, and I'm gonna have them on. All my paid actors. These are my paid actors that I'm gonna have on the podcast at some point. But my friend, my paid actor Damien too. I was gonna chill with them, but I went downtown, Toronto, to hang out, and I was going to see Dirty Ginge, and like. The snow was actually so this is the first night for anyone in the Toronto area. If you recall, last Friday, Saturday to Sunday night. So Saturday night was like the first real snowfall of the season. And I was driving, and it was chill at first. It wasn't that hectic. So it was enough for me to like be like, okay, I'm good. Like, I don't have my snow tires on yet, but I'm going to go downtown. And we ended up, I go to see him, and it's chill. We walk around. We actually have this wretched, cursed tradition that this is the first time that we are saying it out loud. And he knows that it's going to come up at some point if he comes on the podcast. And even as he hears this, it's cursed. But we purposely go, after, like, there was this, it's a whole background, but we would go to the club and wait in line for so long that it got to the point of, like, the first time we didn't get in, but then we started to have fun doing that, because me, him, and the boy, my other boy, the one in the videos, Damien, He like us three went to grab coffee this one time a few weeks ago. We went to grab some coffee, and we stood outside of a bar, just drinking our coffee. We're just there drinking our coffees, and we kind of think about it. This is like after midnight, so this is like another time I went downtown, and we just chilled there. This isn't the one that's leading to. By the way, like for anyone that's even like, I know people are just like, this guy's all over the place. This guy needs to calm the hell down. This guy needs to get his stuff together. There's literally only 4 minutes of this video left, and he's going off in this whole tangent. But bottom line is, we went out, had coffees at night in front of a bar. It was already like last call's at 2, and we were out at like 1:30, and then we wanted to finish our coffees, and by then it was already like basically 2, and then we're talking to drunken patrons coming out. But the thing is, we're holding coffee standing outside a bar in the middle of the night. To all onlookers, we basically look like employees that are on break. So we had multiple people come up to us being like, "You guys work here? You guys like I think there was one guy that came up and he was like, you guys you guys cooks here or chefs or something, or like bartenders?" And then he goes off about his he's actually a chef. I find out this is like random conversations I'm having with people in the street. But anyways, the bottom line, again, bottom line under that bottom line, is that we basically had a good time just standing in front of a bar, not even going into the club. It almost like, is this like some old man thing that it's like, I don't even want to go in the club anymore because it's like I can't hear you. So I come outside, I could chill on the street, look at these drunken onlookers while I'm I have my own little my little my own little intoxicants going on myself. And it's just a good time. Like I think a thing I realized the older I got is that my good times, it doesn't even matter where I am. It's like the people I'm with. It doesn't matter about like it being some like epic event. Like we have to go out. You have to go to like a fancy restaurant or like a fancy club every time. No, it doesn't have to be that. Am I just lame for that, or like does everyone have to flex all the time? Because I'm down to chill in front of a bar, like talk to random drunk people, and call it a night. That's literally what we do. And we stood there. We literally, and our cursed thing that me and Dirty Ginge basically had. This is tying back. So we had that experience, and now this weekend, we stood in front of the bar that we want to go into. It's like we call it Resto Bar, but it's basically like a small club. And like the line was like hectically long this one time, and this is another weekend we couldn't get in. And then it kind of got into our head of like, oh, like it's nicer to be out here than in the club because it's actually chill outside. Because we ended up another time 2 weeks ago now, we actually got in and it was too crazy in there. Like it was like your sardines in a can. And like, well, I'm not trying to rat out the place I'm going to because it's like, I don't know what the deal with the capacity is, but all I'm gonna say is that I'm not gonna bait it because I don't really post where I go. But these places aren't the most like like capacity friendly. I think in COVID, like I don't know, unless it's, forgive me if I'm wrong, like I don't know regulations of like how many people are supposed to be there. And, like, that's not even something I personally care about. I'm just saying more so that the place is so packed. That's all I'm saying. Because like I'm vaxxed, but like I don't really care. I'm kind of like, I'm not someone that's one way or the other with this stuff. It's like, it's more just the idea that it's packed. And it was so packed that I didn't even want to be there. And I'm just like, I'd rather just chill out here, And like I went in, we went in that night, had a few drinks, but we were like, man, we can't even hear each other talk. But the music was good. On my end, I thought the music was good. But then I'm kind of like of the mind, like I like to hear the like new hip hop stuff, kind of throwbacky stuff, 2000s type stuff. That's what was playing, like 2000s to modern day. That's kind of like regular good club vibes, in my opinion. Is like playing anything like some 90s. like 2000s and anywhere in the 2000s until to now, basically. And like a good blend of those, but not top 40. Not top 40. Unless it's like an old OG top 40. Like not like a current top 40 though. And then like the thing this is just me. I'm not trying to bash people who like it. But I also don't really mess with the clubs that, if you're someone that likes like hip hop and then they do this thing where they tell me, like, if anyone in the comments like likes this, like I don't see the appeal, because like it just seems like it's trying to appease two different crowds, which doesn't make sense, because it's like they're, in my opinion, vastly different crowds. Some people might like it, but anyways, the idea that these people will use like hip hop banger hits in the club, and then they will basically do this thing where it's like it's about to do, you know, the part of the song, you're getting ready, you're getting hyped, you're getting ready for the drop, you know, you can go hard, but then all of a sudden it starts like, it turns into this EDM thing, but it's supposed to be like this, like, you know, this banger, but it certainly turns into this, and then it's like it keeps going up, and then and then it's like, and that's like the drop. And who does that appease? Who does that appeal to? Like, who are the people that listen to that original song and say, you know what, I really want to butcher this with like some like EDM, like crazy, like hype drop, but like it's not the tone of the song at all, and it stems from nothing that involves the reason why people like the song. It's just blending two different, like, I don't know, man. Like, I think it's a trend that's hopefully, I don't know if it's going away. Like, it's the clubs I go to. My thing is that if I see a club that has DJs that do that, I can't go there anymore. I need a club that honors the sound of the music that it's playing. You know what I mean? Like, that has to play music that actually has to do with the music itself. Like, it can't just turn, like, if it's hip hop, it's gotta be hip hop. If it's gonna be, the only ones I can accept of like blending things is if it's, in my opinion, in the same realm. I can accept like funky old school R&B, or, you know, funky songs like some Michael Jackson or something, like that sort of stuff. If you're gonna put that in, that stuff fits. Or like there's also the crowd that likes, like, you know, the dance hall stuff or the reggaeton stuff, and I like that stuff too, because it feels like it goes more in that realm, you know, it's of the same vein. But I don't know, everyone likes different stuff. But like, in my opinion, the EDM thing is like a different vibe than that. I think it's like, is it the BPM's different? Is that what it is? Like, you know, I can't, like, it doesn't get me the same way. Like, is anyone with me on this or no? All the power. Like, the thing is though, I've been to EDM clubs. I went to one early in COVID and I like it. But the thing is, I like it because it's fully owning what it is, but I just don't like the blend of things. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, that's the thing. Like, I'm not a hater of music. It's more that if it butchers it, and it does it, like, in my opinion, like, certain things aren't meant to, it's like ketchup on ice cream. Delicious. No, like, ketchup and ice cream, like, hey, those of you like ketchup and ice cream, all the power to you. Oh, look at that, guys. We went 3 minutes over. I went on a whole tangent. I don't even know where that was going. But this podcast might have been funner than the last one. This one was good. But yeah, I remember I asked a few questions in there. Answer those questions that I asked about, what was it? If you'd want me to stream or you know, like watch movies and stuff on stream or podcast sort of thing. Other stuff I asked, you know. But yeah, I gotta get up in like 5-6 hours, guys. I think I can get a decent sleep off that. Wish me luck for the rest of the week, guys, and I wish you luck. Wish you well. I think that video that I'm talking about, the birthday birthday card one that I was talking about briefly, is gonna be coming out, so you can get a little bit of background context on that with this video afterwards. But yeah, always a pleasure, guys. We're gonna be back. We're gonna do more. We'll see again if we get some guests. But yeah, this was fun, guys. Have a good rest of the week. Peace. Oh, Tito out. Yeah. Tito out. Okay, yeah. Stopped it. No, I didn't stop it. It's still going, guys. Come on. You really thought I stopped it? You really thought I stopped it? I'm not going to stop it. We're just going to keep this going, guys. We're just going to keep this going.